Hi, everyone. This is Denise, and it is good to be here with you today. A few days before Thanksgiving, in preparation for the December holidays coming up. And this training this morning is really on how to create a holiday that is that's a holiday of joy and heavy on joy and way less on stress, and how it all relates, to money. And so one of the first things that I just want to begin with is we all have a history of so many holidays in our lives for, however whatever our age is. I have a history of going through 60 holidays in my lifetime. And some of those holidays were great. And, I have to say some were kind of stressful, to be honest with you. And so just for a brief moment, I want us to realize that sometimes the history of what we come from influences us. And the patterns of a holiday, right? How it was done, or sometimes the family rules or expectations that were unspoken, but definitely in the room of the holiday, around gift giving, around, how to behave, around just kind of maybe all sorts of ways of being that we are supposed to, be during a holiday. And while all of that is true for all of us who are breathing and living on this earth today, we don't have to recreate our past if we don't want to, or if it was stressful, or if it just no longer serves us. We can move forward and begin to create holidays from a place of consciousness and of intention and of joy and of how we want it to be, who we want to be at our table, and the traditions that we want to embody. We can create that for ourselves. And while that may sound simple, it isn't always easy, because we can have the pull of the past back here saying, but what about this? And, well, what if you don't do this? And don't you remember that it's not okay just to give one gift? Or, some of the rules that we grew up with. So one of the first things that I would like you to do is to imagine a holiday that you would really love to be a part of, that you have a desire to create, not just with your money, but with your time and your energy. Because let's face it, we are all really busy these days. And there's a frenzy and there's a rush, no matter where you go right now, with driving out on the road or in a store, and it will even gain intensity after Thanksgiving with Black Friday, and the closer that we get to an actual holiday. So I want you to begin to mentally imagine and just hold a picture in your head of what your perfect holiday would look like. And often, right, if we are able to hold it mentally first and play with that and just get used to it in our body, we can often create it. Our imagination can then be manifested in our physical world. So I'm a little distracted. I see a squirrel running here behind my head. So, what will that be for you? Like, what will be that holiday for you that you would want to create for yourself? And I would invite you to think about your favorite holiday songs, your favorite traditions, your favorite people that you want to be with, that you love, and how you will connect with them. For my husband and I, we don't have children. We live far away from family, and we rarely go back to our family of origins during the holidays just because of, honestly, the weather and getting stuck. And it's also a time of year where we don't like to travel. We are very much homebodies. We like to watch some of the same movies year after year, like the Rudolph movie. And there's a movie that is escaping me the name right now, but it's Tom Hanks, and he's in it with about like a Christmas train. And we like to celebrate with, sometimes the meal that we will cook will be a turkey meal, but sometimes we like to have crab. And one of the traditions that we love to do is we love to, in the evening, take our dogs and walk in the cold, crisp air in our neighborhood many evenings of the month, and just to enjoy the lights. And it's the simple things that we really love. And there are a couple of couples that we get together with over the holiday that are our chosen family. And we have been doing that for almost 30 years with them. So we just like to kind of have a homebody, relaxing type of holiday, the fire on, some good smells in the kitchen, and watching some good movies and having lots of blankets to wrap up in. And, that's kind of the holiday that we really love to create. And we have a tree. We keep it easy. We don't go out and chop trees anymore. We just we have a tree from Target, and it will be with us until all the lights on it go out. It's one of those push-up trees. So, look at the qualities that you want to bring in: ease, comfort, joy, relaxation. What are those qualities that you want to embody? And think about those, and then ask the question, how can I begin to create this quality in my holiday? So that's one thing, right? Another holiday tip, so to speak, is to do what Santa does and make a list and check it twice. And this is in regard to presents and gift giving. And this could be a time of year where there is just a lot of impulsivity. And, once you get out in the frenzy of the crowd, sometimes it's hard to think, right? We are overstimulated by the smells and the noise at the shopping centers. And many people today actually don't even go to a shopping center, and they do all their shopping online. But just be aware of that when you do make a list, like the names of the people that you want to give gifts to, and then make a list of what you want that gift to be, and to infuse that with meaning, right? Like those are the best gifts, the thoughtful, meaningful gifts that will really touch a person's heart, and they don't have to be super expensive at all. And also to honor the dollar amount that you have for gift giving. That's really important. Whether you have $100 or whether you have $4,000, really direct those dollars to how you want to allocate them. I know that the research that is out there says that pretty much the average person spends about $982 for the holiday season on gifts. And so if you have a couple, that's about $2,000. My husband and I are certainly not the average. We spend way, way less, maybe around $400, $500 for a holiday, and sometimes $200. It just depends. But we have really shaped our holiday to give us liberation, and gift giving, while it may be a part, it is a very small part of our holiday. Our holiday is big on connection and tradition and meaning. And while gift giving is there, it's a small part. So when you make a list and you check it twice, you are less impulsive. You can go shopping with a purpose with your list in your hand. And once you get the gift, you're done. And you don't have to go from store to store and look about one more gift. I need to get one more gift, because that's what people do. Many people say, oh, we shop through the year and for, gift giving. And then at the end, we just kind of shore it up. But what really happens is it's this pattern of one more gift, and what you have isn't enough. And that adds up, to a lot of money. So just to be careful of that, really. And then in my book, Earn, Save, Spend, Give, here, I just want to read you a couple of things, but I did write out some rules of healthy gift giving. And I really love this quote by Mother Teresa. And she says, it's not how much we give, but how much love we put into giving. And I think that's so true. Anyway, I want to share that with you. And here in the book, I do talk about 3 rules of healthy gift giving, and I want to share them with you. The first one is that healthy giving is good for the giver and receiver, both emotionally and financially. And what this really means is that you are going to honor yourself enough over this holiday that you will not go into debt over gift giving and then end up in January with some sort of a spending hangover where you're stressed out and you're like, oh my goodness, how am I going to, make this all work? It's too much. And so, there are ways to finance gifts other than with money. Actually, if you kind of put financing gifts with money on the back burner, you can actually finance gifts with your creativity and see what you can come up with. They can be gifts of service. They can be gifts of bartering. Just a different way of gift giving, right? You can give of your time. You can give of your energy. You certainly can give of your money. It's just important to know that that is not the only way to give. So an idea is just to honor yourself, because your friend that you're giving to would never want you, I'm sure, to go into debt over gift giving as well. Okay? Healthy gift giving is free of guilt or pressure to give more than you can afford. And this can be a challenging one. I have some friends that they give gifts that I simply are not in my cash flow plan. I'm going to sneeze here. Hold on. Okay, if it comes, it comes. And they can afford it, and that's great. And it's taken me a while to kind of detach emotionally from this place of that I need to match their gift giving, or that I need to match the cost of their gift giving. And to get out of my head with that, because the thoughts that go along with that are things like, oh, well, there will be less, they're going to think I'm cheap, or they're not going to approve of me, or they will like me less. Like, those are so irrational thoughts. they're not grounded in reality, and yet we all have these thoughts that come up, right? Sometimes gift giving triggers them. And I have to go within and I have to say to myself, these are the resources that I or we have over this holiday. And how do I allocate them in a way that feels honoring, that feels good, that is in honor of the person that I'm, giving a gift to? And how can I just settle into the knowing of that that is what is good for me, and it'll be good for them too. And nobody is really judging us except that we are judging ourselves, right? The third rule is that healthy giving has no expectations or strings attached, and there's no giving to get dynamic, right? So sometimes when we give from a place of codependency, it's not clean giving. And it's just important to be aware of that, because we come from family systems where sometimes that is a giving pattern, right? Or it can be a codependent pattern to overgive for approval or overgive for whatever reason that we may believe that we may be coming from. Okay. And lastly, I wanted to say that it is important that whether we shop online or whether we shop in a store, a physical store, that we go shopping where we are not hungry or in a negative emotional state or feeling lonely or feeling tired or feeling cranky, or where our blood sugar is low, or where we are in this overwhelmed space, because we tend to kind of numb out in those ways, and we can overspend unintentionally. So, if you have any questions, please email them to me. And in the meantime, I hope that these tips really help. And in closing, there is something that I would like to read you from one of my mentors, that she wrote this, Karen McCall. And it's kind of a holiday intention writing that I love, and I wanted to share it with you. And here it is. Over the holiday, I intend to celebrate the real spirit of the holiday, to remember that the very best things come in no package at all, right? Love, connection, joy, the true meaning of the holiday. I intend to spend more time on friends and less on shopping. I intend to increase the value of my presence instead of my presence. I love that one. I intend to be especially grateful for gifts of love, kindness, and friendship. I intend to return those gifts in greater measure than I receive. I intend to extend myself and not my credit. I intend to take time to reflect and refuel, to add to the world's measure of goodwill, and to live by my word and make these wishes come true. So in closing, I wish you all a very, very wonderful holiday from my heart to yours, and may it be filled with everything that means most to you. Thank you so much for being here today.